Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome to my brand new Let's Play series for Pro Cycling Manager 2024. The new challenge series, played on extreme difficulty, is a unique take and an evolution of a new play style to the game over the past couple years. The series, PCM24 Yeti, will introduce a snowball effect to the build-a-region concept. The core gameplay has to do with growing the available rider pool over time, beginning the game with the World DB 2024, or World Database, and 30 1-1 nations. 1-1 represents the lowest rated popularity in training, meaning lowest quality and quantity of riders in any nation within the game. While I will seek to build those 30 nations, similar to Build a Region challenge, I have adopted new rules to snowball the rider pool, accumulating additional potential signings in time. Build a Region depends on victories to raise a nation's popularity and a high ranking to raise training ratings. That alone, especially with just 20% odds to improve, takes many years to be an effective way to improve your squad. To raise popularity from 1 to 2, a race victory in a 1.1 or 2.1 race is required. Here's where I'm applying the snowball effect. For each win pertaining to a popularity increase, I will unlock a chunk of the equivalent nations in the database. Popularity 2, beginning with 4 groups: Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Europe. A 1-1 or 2-1 victory will trigger a decision roulette wheel, adding these regions one at a time to our pool. Following the 4th win, unlocking each, we'd expand our pool by 42 additional nations on top of the 30 that we'll begin with. The rules apply similarly for each popularity level, all the way to winning stages at the Tour de France to unlock the game's best nations. World DB has made an attempt to limit the typical rapid bloating of the database. 2 big changes have been implemented. 1, current riders' ratings have been scaled down. Few elite riders do stand out, but most riders are more average. Seen here, only a couple riders with elite flat ratings. Fewer riders with elite mountain ratings, only 4 in an 81 plus. Medium mountain just have 3 elite climbers. Hills ratings, after 3 riders, already drops into the 70s. Cobble ratings, just 1 elite. Sprint ratings, just a few above 80. And more rapidly dropping off to mid-70s. 2, nations' popularity and training ratings have been scaled down massively to limit the typical high rate of elite riders appearing in the database in the first few seasons. Ratings are so low that I've had to account for these changes in my pool snowballing. The initial challenge can't get much tougher. Extreme difficulty. I have some of the worst riders, and the pool contains fellow worst riders. Our budget will be quite low, but through victories and growing the rider pool, we will eventually have access to all of the best riders, meaning sky's the limit. Goals for the series: 150 episodes, #1 ranking, full snowball, and for your assistance with the algorithm. Please take a moment, drop below, like, comment to boost the series, and subscribe if you're ready for PCM24 Yeti. For year 1, we have 12 riders from 12 separate nations of wildly varying ages, from extreme veterans down to young up-and-coming cyclists. But one thing that they all have in common is every single attribute is a 56 or below. Minimum rating in the game is a 50. Their evaluations, not even a half star. Not one of them. So we are taking the worst riders in this first season. The hopes of getting any victory in year 1 is going to be like 0.1% chance, as this group is truly awful, but we'll see what we can do. We'll give it a shot. And then, of course, at the moment, without any accumulated victories, we will only have those 1-1, those 30 1-1 nations from which to try to hire replacements. With the World DB, there's lots of additional riders in the initial, a lot of weak riders in our 1-1 nations, so there are some options. Weak for a 1-1 is still powerful compared to what I have right now, and there will be better options out there. You can guarantee that most, if not all, of our 12 riders will be replaced come next season, as there's going to be far better options available to us even in this extreme start. Our sponsor, the Swedish Yeti racing team, they have preference for Sweden and Italy. I, however, will be going in and altering that and dropping that away so that there is low preference for any nation, as we're going to be very, very diverse with our team throughout this playthrough, drawing from nations all over the world, whatever we can find, and especially as we gain more options, we'll be diversifying even further than the initial set of 30 small random nations. First up for us is a new race objective system this year in PCM24. Multiple sponsorships are available, though we are beginning with just one, and you get to choose and negotiate your objectives for the year with your sponsor, and there is ratings based on how you do. Looks like our target is to get at least 50. Our maximum, if we achieve everything, is 59 points. Main reason for that is the difficulty that we have selected. But when you actually look at what I've selected, I've taken very low level stuff, but we have such a low level that we are getting the recognition for our quality versus expectation versus reality. So for national championships of the Philippines, Angola, and Iran, visibility of 1, which is a new thing this year. Visibility 1 essentially means get on TV, be seen, get in a breakaway for a little while, and you can achieve visibility 1 quite easy. That's 4 of our race objectives, and all 4 of them, that is seen as the highest difficulty level, meaning it's going to be very, very hard to achieve that. 2 other goals, a top 20. We have to have one in this period, and that's the only one we could get in that period. There's no national championships or anything to serve our purposes there. And we need a top 20, as visibility 1 was not an option. I need to change this post-Nord tour of Denmark also. 5 visibility 1 objectives and 1 top 20, and it's the 1 top 20 that seems to be the easiest to achieve objective. But believe me, visibility 1 wasn't even an option, and other things. That's supposed to be a fairly low level race. With the database the way it is, there's 30 to 40 Filipino riders. There's close to 20 Angolan riders, and Iranian riders near about 25. There's quite a few in the field, and we have the weakest rider in each of those nations, so it's going to be pretty tough to accomplish even simple tasks. We also have not only race objectives, but we have season objectives. Win 1 race. That's going to be a big ask, but that, of course, is the tall order. That is the aim. And if we get lucky, there's not going to be 30 to 40 Filipinos in the race. There's going to be 5 to 10 of them that show up, making it that much easier to get the visibility and get out there and perform and get a result and get a top 10 if we're lucky. And maybe, just maybe, we'll squeeze out one of those, hey, there was 3 riders in the field and we won. Probably not, but we get a top 3, and that's going to be seen at least close to getting that win. I don't know. Well, we'll see as time goes on. But they want us to finish 286th in the team rankings. Well, to know if that's achievable, we need to know how many teams there are. But I wouldn't be surprised, considering we have the weakest team possible, that it's quite possible that we would be number 286 out of 286. We're going to talk a lot more about this later. Facilities have been introduced this year. We do have the tiniest amount of budget that we could contribute towards it. we have 67,000 for our balance, and we do have a positive monthly balance, but not by much. And we have a very, very weak team that won't be helped much by this. We're going to need a lot of luck to have any sort of success this season. I'm not going to waste our money on this. I'd actually rather see us pocket a little bit of cash for future seasons. While having a bunch of teammates on minimum salary is definitely good for saving money, what it's not good for is having inequality, as we have 0 star ratings across the board. And while the potential appears to be optimistic at times, you got to look a little bit closer and see that it's a 49-year-old, a 37-year-old, a 50-year-old, and a 34-year-old that show any amount of actual potential. When we break the team down, the young riders, we're not actually seeing anything in terms of quality amongst the group. 27-year-old Mohammadi has a little bit of actual potential, but it's mostly bare door, time trial, or punchiness, and he's already 27. We can't expect him to actually get anywhere near achieving that, and that's it for our entire roster. So we are going to be implementing a total overhaul in the first transfer window. Fortunately, only 2 of the 12 were automatically assigned a 2-year contract instead of a 1-year contract, so we'll be able to replace 10 of them in the first season. With this scouting distribution, I should be able to cover, I think, 26 of the 30 nations that are eligible to us right now, with one of our scouts covering 3 parts of Asia plus Central America, and then our other scout covering the homeland of Scandinavia, which has Iceland in it. It's a 1-1 nation, and eventually, as we unlock things, that'll give us some bonuses for those other countries there. But Africa, North and South, additionally. That also puts both of them in the stage of getting the double efficiency bonus. And we don't have to tackle those last 4, which are all like individual states in larger regions that wouldn't give us much additional things while we're getting, a double efficiency bonus otherwise. Little added caveat, our first boost, our first additional nations to the pool, the first Snowball, even though it's at the 1.1 and 2.1 level, and there is races below that with 1.2 and 2.2, also the under 23 races, and there is no potential national boost to a country to win any of those levels of races, even though there are not. However, for me, for the pool unlocking, that snowball effect, there are 2 nations actually tied to any win, lowest level win, and that is 2 nations that do not have a 2 in popularity but have higher than a 1 in their training rating. Those 2 nations being Monaco with a 1-2 and Liechtenstein with a 1-3, which would be a nice addition to us. We wouldn't get very many riders out of there, but with that level of quality potential, we would really, really hope to have Liechtenstein sooner rather than later at our disposal. First ever race is an individual time trial for the national championships in Cambodia. Cambodia is one of the smaller rider pools of our 1-1 nations, but it is far from the smallest. But here's your turnout. It's Mao. He is actually all alone. He is going to win regardless, and we're lucky he's alone because he's got a -5. It's hard to get any lower than a 50, but it is possible with race day condition. A -9, a 41 is reality, and it is what he's facing. He would be losing so horribly here, but nobody else is out there. It's going to be a pretty easy victory for Mao. That's also going to make our sponsor objectives. I don't know how many times this is going to end up happening, but it's going to make our sponsor objectives easy to fulfill in this first season. Oman is actually a 2-1 nation, so Al Maskri is not somebody I'm going to be able to re-sign in the coming season. no matter as he is the weakest rider there, but also as a slightly larger nation, quantity-wise, with that 2 popularity rating. Their pool's a little bit deeper, and we actually do have some competition for this race as we go to hit our first climb. With a 50 base mountain rating and a 53 with the bonus today, and a 54 time trial rating today, Alamasky should probably be somewhere right around last place on this one, but we're going to push on the climb, try to set a good tempo through there. We've got a nice descent coming where we're going to be able to make up some time. But as we go through the first time check, 9th at 2.5 minutes down already, but we are using that descent to kind of get back on par, and we are just about back level. At the second time check, we were 8th momentarily, now 11th, and we are coming up on the finish line with a little bit of spare energy. Push a little harder, 3K to go. Overtaken by the number 1 rider. For the finish line, that's 8th, now dropping to 9th. 4.5 minutes down. We were not last place. In fact, that's a top 10. I don't know how many were here. 11. So we actually ended up beating 2 riders with a 50 time trial rating, but just how good was it? Not so good. A 51 and a 51. We had a good race day condition because we had a fitness peak, because I knew he was going to be racing a month into the season, and so we started him on very high initial training and had the objective, and he performed well. 4.5 minutes down. Not that the eventual winner was very good themselves. That's a 56. Folks, this is what we're looking at. This is a national champion in a 2-1 nation. He's got a couple of 60s. 3 of them. Not even a 61. That's significantly better than what we have, and he beat us by 4.5 minutes comfortably. But that's what we're up against, and that's why it's going to take us a while to break out. But with a few easier nations and a few easier opportunities to get top 10s in national team races, objectives early on will not be a problem. When we eventually get to something like Continental Pro, that part's going to get a whole lot tougher. For now, though, these tiny little races that we have are not going to provide us significant boosts from the sponsor, but it should make it easy to at least achieve the goals and grow our income base at least a bit. Our very first head-to-head race sees Alamaskri in the Omani National Championship road race now. Same 11 riders. Same guys have shown up for the pair of races, and I've gone in the breakaway with an Al-Lamki. His team not interested in chasing because he's here and guaranteed a top 2. For now, we have a 6-minute advantage, and there's a decent chance that actually could turn into a top 2 finish. Now, technically, I've already claimed 2 victories in Cambodia with Mao, as he was the only one racing. But let's be realistic, that was not a real victory. Nor would getting a top 2 today and somehow beating Al Lamki to first place with our now 8-minute advantage. Neither one of these cases would be an actual victory, even if we beat Al Lamki. Why? I mean, come on. Let's get real. It's not real competition if you're the only one. It's not real competition if 9 riders don't bother chasing and 2 riders go clear. And then you only have to beat 1 rider head-to-head. That at least is a little bit of an achievement, but it's certainly not beating the field. So I will not count that for our 2 Pop 1 nations that we are looking to acquire. We'll have to wait on those a little bit longer. With a 16-minute advantage, the field has started chasing us down. It's down to 14.5 minutes, but we're plenty far ahead with just 27K to go. There's little to no chance of them actually catching us. For a long time there, Al Lamki would not work with me. Did not want to work with me at all, and we've got to watch these climbs as there's a chance that he might try to attack me and go clear. But as we're holding out with an 11-minute advantage, we've got 2 more times to go over these climbs. And looking at our opponent, Al Lamki, he's almost as weak as we are. We've actually got a legitimate chance to beat this guy. as we just saw the others going over the climb the opposite direction that first time. We're going to come back the other way. We might try to attack. They actually just dropped a rider too. Might try to attack them here on the climb and see if we can get clear. We do get clear. 2K. Oh. Sorry. Pause. 99. Sprint. It's already 700 meters. Al Lamke doesn't have enough to chase. Alamaskri, national champion of Oman. Compared to our solo victories, that one a little more involved, but still not enough. We will not unlock our 2-1 popularity nations. 2 potential sponsors have begun to show some interest in us, largely because we've gotten some undeserved visibility with a couple easy national championship situations, and we're heading into another one that's not so easy here in just a moment. But Amazon and Lotto Destiny development team are both looking to sponsor us potentially. Right now, interest is rather low, and we're just in early contact phase. First sponsor objective of the year is exposure at the Philippines National Championships. Gonzalo rides in a deep field in the individual time trial. He got blown away pretty handily. Did not finish last, but was very much towards the back end. But the key here is to get out front. That's exposure. That's recognition. And also, if what happened last time could happen this time, there's always the chance. There's 32 riders in this field. It's much larger than what we faced in Oman, but there's always a chance that the field does not pursue us, as we ride with the 7-Eleven rider, and as somebody who is married to a Filipino and has been to the Philippines multiple times, yeah, I've seen those jerseys plenty of times riding around various parts of the country. Early on, we're still trying to establish ourselves as a breakaway. We do have a 2-minute plus advantage, but we're still having to push on pretty hard, which means the peloton's just not giving us the leeway that we would hope for. So it's looking like it's not going to be an easy victory here unless they suddenly sit up and change their minds regarding that one. And I'm having a hard time just traveling at this tempo, so there's a good chance that I might do nothing more than get that exposure element, but try to back off more and more to lower that heart rate a bit so that we can settle in and maybe recover, because this climb coming up could see us get dropped. But the gap's coming down to the peloton, now just 144 ahead. Is gonna make that climb, but not by much. Gap starting to open back up. Ooh, our opponent's getting dropped. I'm going to back off here. Did not expect to see him go out the back just before me. Peloton has shrunk just a little bit as we've been caught, but that was a good amount of kilometers off the front. That's a definite opportunity for me. I don't want to contribute anymore now that we're in the group. We want to stay put and see if we can't recover a little bit. We're about to hit that same climb again, the one that nearly broke me the first time, as you're getting favorites attacking off the front. And meanwhile, we're going to crest the climb, just hanging in there. No, dropped out the back. One of 3 riders out the back. And that is our day decided. But was that enough exposure? Was that enough time off the front? Aranza has taken the win. We are going to finish 31st out of 32. Oh, that was not enough visibility, so that actually went down as a failure for us. I'm wondering if staying in the bunch, finishing in the top 20, will actually do more to earn a Visibility 1 rating, because it is counted for results in stage races. Following performances are taken into account for the calculation. Top 20. Top 20 does count towards that. So if we can assure a top 20, then I think we can assure a Visibility 1. Now, of course, with 31 in the field, finishing 30th, or 32 in the field and finishing 31st, was definitely not the way to do that. But if we were to stay in the field, not attack, and competitively, I'm not sure we would have done much better. Better than 31st, certainly, but competitively, I think we still might have been destined for a spot outside of the top 25. Hard to say. We'll have to try it on the next one. Before that, though, there is a race where the call is to finish in the top 20, and it's likely to be not only a better field, but a much deeper field, as it is a regular calendar race. We're going to jump into that one on our next episode, though. That's going to do it for this first episode. Let me know in the comments below if this is the right direction, because we did put out a vote for this series prior to release, prior to the start of the series. It was very much undecided. And one element of it, though, and the one that had slightly the best amount of votes, was regarding the budget. And we've very much gone with an incredibly low budget for this save. So technically, we are still going in line with what was voted upon. We'll see in practice, but I do think I've found the right recipe to really make this work for the build-a-nation, but also the snowballing pool that gets us more and more access to better and better riders in time. Means a tough save, but a doable save. I'm the Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.